by Green. Throws it back up top. James puts up the three. Oh, it's good! LeBron James from downtown.
Hello, welcome back to episode of 3 Guys with Mike. As always, I'm Jeremiah, joined by my co-host. Notice
William.
I say co-host. Aaron is not here.
William.
And today we're going to go ahead and cover 3 main topics. First topic, throw it up on the board right here. We're going to cover Game 7 of the Boston Celtics versus Miami Heat. We're going to cover our finals predictions for the Warriors versus Celtics series coming up, starting on Thursday, June 2nd. And then finally, we're going to discuss the 2 teams that missed out on this year's finals. In the West, you have the Dallas Mavericks. In the East, you have the Miami Heat. And we're going to discuss things they could do to move them up the list, right? To get them to that final, right? Diving in first, right? Diving in first here, Boston Celtics, right? Defeat the Miami Heat at home, 196, right? Close game. Willie, what happened here? What were the keys to the game? Give me your
Keys to
spill.
the game. I would say the Celtics started off how they haven't started off aside from Game 4, which is they started off hot. They started off with a purpose, with an intention to drive, to steal the ball, get out in transition. They didn't allow Jimmy Butler any easy points in the first quarter. He did get going there on in the second quarter, but keep in mind, he had to play the entire game to muster out that 35 points, which I feel like that is a win in the Celtics books. If you have a player play the entire game, he only gives you 35, he's gassed at the end of the game. I feel like that's a win in that situation. But yeah, I think Boston, they were the better team. I don't think they even played better. If you look at the stats, the box score when it came to 3-point shots, free throws, turnovers, stuff like that, you would have thought Boston should have won more than 4 points. They should have won by at least 15.
Exactly, and even the commentator said that during the game. I like that you bring up the hot start. First quarter, they won the first quarter 32-17, right? So from the get-go, the Heat were down for majority. The Heat were down for majority of the game. I don't believe they ever led the game. At one point, it got close there in the fourth quarter. It came within 2 or 3, I believe. However, the Celtics. I said this last episode, right? The Celtics are a team that whenever you get close, they hit you with a dagger 3, right? I said usually it's Marcus Smart, usually it's Al Horford. This game is actually Tatum, right? Tatum, if you guys remember from an inbound play, they were checking from the baseline. PJ Tucker was kind of caught sleeping. He was caught sleeping, and Tatum hit he walked into a 3, right in the middle, smack in the middle. It was a beautiful 3, and it's like that's exactly what they needed, right? He hit a contested 3 on Jimmy Butler, just pulled up, no hesitation, right? That's kind of what you see from one of the best players in this league. That's what you want to see, right? Best player on your team, without a doubt, right? Getting into my thoughts here, I thought the Heat, So when you look at the actual stats here, PJ Tucker didn't score a single point. Played 17 minutes. Tyler Hero, yes, he was injured, right? Didn't score a single point. I understand you're injured and whatnot, but man, if you're an athlete, all the athletes that watch this, right? When you're an athlete and you love the game, and if the game's on the line, it's a Game 7 to go to go to the finals. You strap it up, man. Like you put more air in your helmet. You put on a knee, like you put on some Tiger Balm. You mean like anything to get it done, right? I didn't like that outing by him. Maybe it was a coach's decision. However, that's how that is. Bam had a great game, 25 points.
I was gonna say.
Kyle Lowry got into foul trouble early, right? Finished with 15, right? You need to see more. The man played 39 minutes, right? You've won a ring before, right? You're a proven veteran. You come to this team for a reason to win a ring, right? That's what they trade for you. They're going to win a ring. They put in all the chips on the table, and he actually said it himself. It was a waste of a season, and I couldn't agree more. Jumping here back to the Celtics. Jason Tatum, Brown, just 2 athletes, right? The best tandem in this series right now. I'm gonna say that. Over Curry and Clay, I'll take the youth in Tatum and Brown.
And defense.
In the defense and the length too. It's like every time I see Tatum, I keep on forgetting how long his arms are. Like you ever see him just standing up? It's like it's weird. It's weird. But he's an athlete. Anything else before we move on here?
Just looking at it, Marcus Smart also big
had 24,
and also he had the opportunity to score 33 points with a few missed threes at the end of the game. As you know, and this is something that's kind of interesting to me. If you notice, Boston, the way they were playing Jimmy Butler, it was like they were daring him to shoot, which kind of was playing against them. I don't know why you would dare a player like him to shoot.
Before.
But also, just Tatum was getting doubled a lot of times, and he would kick out the ball to Smart. Smart had a bunch of opportunities to make threes. They just didn't fall down. That was the reason for the Miami Heat going on a big run. A bunch of missed threes.
Yeah.
They would just get easy layups and stuff like that. But yeah, I just think the late game execution has to be addressed. And I like what Ime Udoka said after the game, saying, look, Boston doesn't have any banners for going to the finals.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, he doesn't have his
that's the
he's
right
not satisfied yet,
That's the
know?
right thing to say.
Yeah.
That's the right thing to
So, I mean, I'm just proud of this team. I'm happy that they finally got over the hump, even though it was kind of stressful at the end. I was just so happy that this team got over it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, I think that's one thing that I want to talk about.
Jimmy hits that 3. It's
I'm riding or dying with Jimmy if I'm a Miami Heat fan.
Yeah.
If I'm part of that organization, he's the reason why you're even in this game. He's the reason why you even got it to Game 7.
Exactly.
So if you're gonna have a problem with him shooting that 3, I feel like you just don't trust your best player.
Listen, this morning, Jimmy Butler is a hero if he makes that 3. Like he's a hero. Moving on here. Getting into this finals, right? Getting into this, the end of the NBA season, right? Bittersweet. Because one of these teams has to go all this way and play all the way to June and get nothing out of it, right? Get nothing out of it. And that's heartfelt. However, Game 1 is on the bay in San Francisco, right?
Yeah.
Warriors are far too comfortable in this position, far too comfortable in the playoffs, far too acquainted with the finals. As we all know, it is the first finals appearance for many on this Boston Celtics team.
For all of them.
For the entire starting 5, yes?
For the entire team.
Yeah? Wow.
The coach.
I didn't know it was everybody.
Yeah.
Wow. See, that right there, right? I'm not going to front here. I'm pretty sure nerves are going to play a role in some players.
Yeah.
Not all, right? I trust Tatum, right? He's a proven guy in this league.
Yeah.
I trust Tatum. I think how this series plays out is going to be on Tatum. Tatum and Brown. You don't play a team as... Like, Tatum has to be the best player in this series. Like, you don't play a team as good as the Warriors and win because Al Horford hits a corner 3. Like, your superstars have to be that. They have to be superstars. Tatum and Brown can give you 35 each in a game. They've done it before. There is no reason for them to do it right now. And it's not like you're going against an all-star studded defense with the Warriors. Yes, Draymond is a valuable defender. I understand that. However, you're a top 5 player in this league. You have crazy athleticism. You have crazy length. You're a spot-up shooter. You can hit elbow turnaround jumper. Like, his bag is so deep. And everything has to be on the table right here. However, I'm not going to say anything past this first game because I want to see how they play, right? That wouldn't be fair if I gave a prediction if I don't see how they play, right? However, I think this first game goes to the Warriors.
I agree.
I think it goes to the Warriors. However, I just want to see the Boston Celtics find a rhythm. I want to see them, string together a few stops, right? And prepare yourselves for the long stretch of the series.
I would say, if you're Boston, you got to let it go as long as you possibly can.
Yeah.
But also, I think Game 1 does go to Golden State. As we say, the experience, I would also say the rest plays into a factor. If Boston would have won on Game 6, which was Friday night, they could have had a lot more rest. Now they cut down their rest to 2 less days. So now you have to go from playing in Miami, go back to Boston, then you have to travel to San Francisco. That's going to kind of hurt them. But also, the Warriors have had a week off. They are shooters. They're going to be well rested. As we know, Curry's game is pretty much made of him just running around the entire court. He's going to be, energized. So, I just think, but looking at this series, I think Boston, if everyone comes to play, if they play consistent, this team can win the championship. They can win a finals if they are consistent. But, again, it's hard to say because a lot of times they look like a scary team against the Heat, and then other times they look like, what are you doing? Like, you guys don't understand. You guys have the length, the size, the skill against this team.
Let's not forget, who's gonna deny Rob Williams? Like, you mean like they have the size?
Yeah,
I mean like
exactly. Looney, he was playing amazing. But I would say it was also had to do with the Mavs' lack of a presence in the paint.
Yeah.
I feel like now Al Horford, Robert Williams, even Grant Williams, he's 6'6", 6'7", but he still plays like a center. So I think that's where they need to pretty much eat here in this series. Yeah. But I think Curry's gonna have his own game. Clay's still gonna go off. Pool's gonna go off. I think Derek White and I think Grant Williams have to match the energy of Jordan Poole. I feel like if Poole is going to go off, if he's going to be explosive, you can't just allow that to happen. You have to deal with it on your own, play defense on him, or even knock down a few threes of your own. So game one I'm going with the Warriors, but it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
It is. Moving on to our last topic of today's episode. As we all know, the Dallas Mavericks, right? I'm a big Luka fan. I stressed that many a times on this series. On this show, right?
Yeah.
Sadly, they lost to the Warriors, right? Miami Heat, as we all know, lost to the Celtics, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to start here with the Mavericks, right? What do the Mavericks need? Well, it's no secret. Luka does not have a true two on that team. He does not have someone he could go to on a nightly basis and say, hey, I need 25 from you, right? It would be nice to imagine Brunson was that person. However, Brunson appeared only in the Jazz series, okay? And he kind of fell out of the playoffs. Didn't really have that big of a performance, right?
I'll say a few games against the Warriors, like 2 or 3.
Sure. You need somebody that gives you that stability, right? Dare I say another star, right? Another star, a max contract type of guy, right? So I glance here, right? Impending free agents, right? I see Kyrie and James Harden, right? That's out of the equation, right?
That's not an option.
That's not an option, right? Then I see this. DeAndre Ayton, Zach LaVine. You're telling me what Luka needs? You're telling me a dominant big who is athletic and can do post work isn't what he needs? I'll say hell yeah it is. You think a dominant Zach LaVine, an explosive Zach LaVine who just went to the playoffs with the Bulls and is gaining experience and is hungry? Yeah. You think that's not what I need, right? And then you see Bradley Beal a little bit lower, okay? Bradley Beal's a deeper option there. But if I'm the Dallas Mavericks, I want to save if I'm Mark Cuban, I want to save my organization. I want to make my star player happy. Yeah. And we all know, in the NBA, it's no secret. Stars leave. They leave They leave to bigger markets. They leave to chase rings, money, so on and so forth, right? If I'm going to make him happy, I'm signing a star. You let walk who you you have to let walk to save money, but you're signing a star.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
No, you're completely right.
Yeah.
I think personally, I would rather have Bradley Beal, but knowing his loyalty to Washington, I don't know if that's exactly going to play out. Yeah. Hopefully, but I do agree with you. The Mavs need a star 1,000%. They can't really add anything to their team. As we know, they were a few games away from the NBA Finals, but looking at the West, Lakers could be back, the Clippers could be back. The Suns, we never know, could be back. You can't just look at how the state of the West is now and just think, okay, we're going to be fine. We were here this year. We're going to be back next year. No, you have to improve your team drastically. I say also, you kind of have to look at you have to look in the mirror if you're Luka. And look, you have outstanding games. You have great games, but you are too ball dominant at sometimes. To where the point is, your team is struggling and they are cold, and once they finally have the ball in their hands, it's kind of too late. And also looking at Game 5 where they did lose, they fought back in that game. Cut it to, I think, 10 or 8. And I think if you look at it, Luka, his shot selection was the biggest issue. Jeez. I feel like if Luka, as we know, he's the most dominant player, one of the most dominant players. When he gets his body in the paint, no one can really stop him. Yeah. He's so stop taking 30-foot threes. We know you can make them. No, but the chances of you making those threes,
and the worst part is they're 30-foot step back threes.
It's like
he isn't coming into it and setting his feet like.
It's so off balance. It's just certain things, and that's something that you saw last year against the Clippers as well. In the fourth quarter, his shot selection was the issue. Yeah. So looking at it, that's something that Luka has to improve on. He's not going to improve on his stats. When it comes to his stats and just his scoring volume, he's reached his ceiling. I don't think he could average any more points. He's going off. He's there. Yeah. But looking at it, just a style of play, and again, who he plays with. But I think the most realistic option right now, Zach LaVine. I think he's the one and we know we got the report a few days ago that they're going to go after him. They're going to target him. Yeah. But I think if you're the Mavs, you need to pair a second star. Again, your team is almost there. Just a few tweaks and adding a second star.
Let's not forget, Tim Hardaway Jr. has a gruesome injury, right?
He would have helped tremendously.
100%, yeah. Moving on to the Miami Heat, right? I'm gonna say this: the Miami Heat they're two pieces. They literally have a roster, right? Yeah. I think the odd man out is PJ Tucker. PJ Tucker it's gonna be next year. I don't know, right?
Saying we have to get rid of him, but has him still on the bench. I don't know. I really don't know their loyalty.
I'm not saying getting rid of PJ Tucker. I'm saying PJ Tucker playing 25 minutes.
Less of a role.
Yeah, That's what has to happen here. Like, PJ Tucker is a valuable defender, right? And defending's nice, right? But when you give me 0 points in 17 minutes in a Game 7 finals, right? When you're a guy that is a veteran in this league, right? A guy that, for the most part, you have to rely on, right? You have to show up. And I think he's just getting older. I think he still has value. He still deserves to be on the NBA roster. It's just, I'd rather give 35 minutes or whatnot to Tyler Hero, right? Or anybody else, right? Like, or you bring in another star, right? Like I said, they also have Victor Oladipo, right? But as we all know, he's coming back from injury, right? He's actually a free agent this year, right? Do you bring him back?
Yeah.
Like
me personally, if I'm the Heat, I would bring him back. Just seeing what he gave you in Game 4, he was scoring out of his mind. It was a blowout. But yeah, looking at it, I feel like you have to give him the benefit of the doubt. You would have to, in my opinion, I feel like your team all across the board, they lack scoring. Consistent scoring.
Sure.
And I feel like he could bring that if he just gets his legs under him again, has another off season to kind of just gather everything.
Yeah, and same thing if you have Kyle Lowry. You mean like if you have a healthy Kyle Lowry, you mean like you have a healthy Jimmy Butler, a team that has camaraderie now. Like I think if they change a few pieces around, this team can still be great, right? As far as bench scoring, right? So Gabe Vincent and Strus don't deserve. No, okay. They deserve to be on rosters, right? They play hard, right? Undrafted guys. However, if you're gonna win a final series, you can't do it with undrafted guys who are kind of just inching by. Like, granted, Strus in Game 7 did not have a very good game, right? Had 5 fouls, right? He didn't even get in double digits for points, right?
Yeah.
You need to solidify your 4 and 5, right? You need to solidify your 6 and 7. Like I feel like that's what's really missing for this Heat team, right? Like teams go on, like Jimmy Butler has to play the entire game. You know what I mean? Like, well, I understand Jimmy Butler shouldn't have to play the entire game. I understand he wants to, right? Because he's a competitor. But Jimmy Butler shouldn't have to play the entire game. They should facilitate more offense with their second team.
Yeah, looking at this roster, I would say a big problem also is Duncan Robinson. You're paying him $90 million to sit on the bench, and we understand his defense is the issue, but I also think it has to go further than that. Maybe there's a personal reason with him and Spoelstra. I don't know what it is, but it's like you're paying him $90 million. He is a knockdown three-point shooter, and again, he does struggle at times with his threes, but looking at it, you're 6th man of the year, averaging 21 points a game. Now in the playoffs, averaging around 14. Tyler Hero, he also isn't really he wasn't too good this offseason or this postseason. Looking at Gabe Vincent, I feel like he gave good points, good minutes to his team. I mean, if you look at his role, it wasn't really expected to be that kind of player. Looking at Max Strus, I feel like Strus, as we know, the Heat have 3 of their worst shooting performances from 3 were against the Celtics in the series. I do give credit to the Celtics defense, but at some point you kind of have to look yourself in the mirror and look, we kind of so we had this in the bag to a certain extent.
Like they miss transition threes, they miss open threes.
Yeah, they miss a lot of stuff like that.
Come on.
I think they're not going to move from Bam. I feel like Bam, he is inconsistent. I feel like you needed him to average at least in the low 20s to have a chance in the series, but he didn't do that. He averaged around 12 points when he wasn't on in Game 3. But they're obviously not going to move on from Jimmy, not from Bam. I would say you have to move on from Tyler Hero, if we're being honest. I feel like you have to get another piece that's consistent and can actually play defense as well and to kind of fit the identity of the whole team. So I feel like maybe Tyler Hero, and I feel like you could express a package deal with maybe a few of your undrafted guys. So just because, again, you have to look at the whole landscape of the East. Boston, we never know regardless of what happens with the series. Tatum and Brown, Tatum and Brown are still 24-25, going to be 25-26 next year. The Bucks are coming back healthy.
With Middleton.
The Nets, we never know what's going to happen with the Nets.
Yeah.
You never know what's going to happen with
the 76ers.
Sixers as well. Yeah, they could be healthy again. So it's like you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So you have to play your cards right. You have to just improve. And I think you have your 2 guys, but I think you have to look at the whole roster and just see what can we do to improve.
Yeah, I definitely understand. And I like that you bring that up, the identity of this team, right? As we all know, Jimmy Butler's stints in the past, wherever he's been, he simply brought that tenacity, that stagger with him, right? Even it's caused him troubles, right? It caused them,
on many teams.
Yeah. However, I think that is just how Jimmy is. Jimmy's going to get the best out of you, right? Like like I said, the athletes that like watch this show, like like at practice you talk smack, like it's competitive banter, right? A lot of guys simply can't take that, and I love Jimmy Butler for that.
Yeah.
I think he brings that to the Miami Heat team, right? And it just sucks to see Jimmy come so close twice.
Yeah.
And lose it again.
I think.
Yeah. But I mean, I think Jimmy realizes his window is closing. His window it's closing, and this has to be made sooner or later. Like for this team, right? I think he has to decide.
Yeah, looking at the culture of this team, looking at the makeup of this team, they were not talented by any means. I would say they're probably the third, fourth most talented team in the NBA or in the East Coast. But looking at it, just they're like a family. And honestly, the Miami Heat scare me because of the way of how resilient they are and who they are led by, Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
And they had no business really taking this series to Game 7. But they did because they didn't want to lay down. They used anything as fire. As we know, they used the quote from Draymond saying that he thought they were going to play Boston.
Yeah.
And they took that to heart, and Game 6 they showed out. So I feel like, just this team, they have the core, they have the identity. Jimmy Butler is that guy, which I think now he elevated himself to superstar now. I feel like now, he's in that 10 to 11 graph.
With his performance.
Yeah, with his performance. So just a lot to think about going into this offseason. It's a make or break offseason for this team.
Yeah.
Being honest, they're so close, that's a good point, but you could be really, really far coming in next season.
Yeah, 100%.
Anything else?
No. So thank you guys so much for watching episode of 3 Guys on Mic. Let us know what you think below, down in the comments, right? If you think we're full of SHIT, send it to your dad who knows more about sports, right? Let him get the tea, right? Guys, please follow us on Instagram, on TikTok, on Twitter, guys. And we thank you for every view, like, and comment. Thank you, guys.